I know, but oh, hey, you big stoners! It's Big Papa Hundo coming at you. What up? What up? You probably want to know what up with Big Papa Hundo and Slick Grace today. Well, we are coming to you live for a little 420 edition from the doghouse at the BPH compound. And we've got ourselves some Humboldt homegrown today. Yeah, that's real good. Let's take a look. This here is the Papaya Punch. Heck yes. And as we can see, this is Humboldt homegrown. Super, super good. Totally recommend that. But that's not what we came to talk to you about today. Pardon me. So, what Big Papa Hundo wanted to talk to you about was a couple different things. And first one is, want to take a moment out and pay our respects to Bob Weir. Bob Weir was a member of the board of directors for the SAVA Foundation. And Bob Weir, of course, was a founding member of the Grateful Dead. Okay? So on behalf of all of the members of the Grateful Living Intentional community, of which I hope all of you are at least in spirit a part, we want to give a moment of silence and shout out to Bob Weir for all the love and for a life of seva, that is selfless service to humanity, for all of the joy that you have brought into our lives. And let's take a moment out. Thank you, Bobby. So, if you recall, 30 years ago, we lost Jerry Garcia. And the day that we lost Jerry Garcia, most of us learned about that from Bobby Weir, who let us know that there was some sad news that came our way. And he made his announcement, and he bravely went on stage and played his show with Bob Weir and Rat Dog. For those of you who remember Rat Dog, real good time there. But yeah, he went on stage and he played the night of Jerry Garcia's passing. And he opened up that show with Bombs Away, which Big Papa Hundo has been listening to the recording of that quite a bit over the past day or so as the world has changed. And as we all think about the life of our friend Bobby Weir, who was an inspiration to us all and forever will be, okay? So I want to remind you all about resilience, okay? As Bobby Weir pointed out when we lost Jerry, we have to keep on. That's what Bobby would want. That's what Phil wants. That's what Pigpen wants. That's what all the legends want, okay? Because ultimately, who they may be. Okay, and one of the greatest ways that we raise our spirits is through laughter, music, and song. And so, Big Papa Hundo and Slick Grace, the queer, imaginary real banana slug, would like to remind you to put your good where it does the most today. And dry those tears and let's get out and rock and roll. Let's dance in the streets. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of living to be done. And Bobby Weir certainly would not want us to be sitting around moping today. What he would like to see us do is dance in the streets. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, this coming weekend is a wonderful opportunity to do exactly that. Okay, because this weekend, on the 17th and the 18th, is Melvin Seals and JGB. Now, for those of you who might be a little younger than Big Papa Hondo, which is a lot of you, okay, you may not know about Melvin Seals and JGB, but it's a high time that you do, okay, because Melvin Seals and JGB are the keepers of the flame. Keepers of what flame, Big Papa Hondo? Well, funny you should ask, Slick Grace, because they're the keepers of the Jerry Garcia band flame. Yeah, Melvin Seals played in the Jerry Garcia band, and as a tribute and to keep the spirit alive and to keep everything moving on, Melvin Seals formed Melvin Seals and JGB, Keepers of the Flame. And we have a wonderful opportunity to see the great legendary Melvin Seals, who Jerry Garcia called him the master of the universe. So I think that's a pretty strong endorsement of Melvin Seals. Don't you, Grace? Yeah, she agrees. So this weekend, why don't you put your walking shoes on and head on down to the Blue Lake Casino so you can check out JGB Melvin Seals. Now, Big Papa Hundo also wanted to talk to you a little bit about marijuana today. Imagine that. Well, so specifically, Big Papa Hundo is going to talk to you a little bit about full spectrum extract. Okay, what is this? This is not a needle, people. Okay, it may look like a needle. It may look kind of scary. Well, you know, it's not scary because what it is it's medication. All right, this is a full spectrum cannabis extract. All right. And what this is this is a high concentration of THC and all the wonderful components of the marijuana plant, okay, in a form that is medical. And so we open up a little cap here, all right, and I just want to demonstrate to you a little bit about this because those of you who are not familiar with this really is a medical product, okay? And as Big Papa Hundo has said so many times before, okay, it's not about having a high tolerance. In fact, having a high tolerance is not necessarily a groovy thing because you know what? When you have a lower tolerance, you're a much cheaper date, just saying. Okay, all joking aside though, all right, this is good medicine and this is the medicine that saved Big Papa Hundo and gave him his quality of life back and still does. But this is a highly concentrated extract, people. So we have to be very careful because this container is 1,000 milligrams of THC. All right. For the average recreational user or for beginning patient, okay, we're going to talk about 2.5 to 5 milligrams total of THC in an edible form. And for those of you who have listened before or tuned in, and I apologize to those of you who know this stuff because I don't want to have to repeat it, but, you know, we're trying to get the message out to as many people as possible. So, when we're talking about edibles, the way that edibles work in the body is that it's going to get converted to 11 instead of 9, okay? What does that even mean, Big Papa Hundo? Well, don't worry about the chemistry part, but know this. What your body is going to do when it passes through the liver because we're consuming it orally and we're eating this medication or we're taking it in a pill form, okay, or we're having it in a brownie, or we could have 132 gummies like Big Papa Hundo did for the 132 protest on Christmas Day 2025, and hey, he's still alive and was still alive in 25 and still is today. So apparently the 132 gummies were not deadly, though death by the firing squad would have been deadly for the same quantity of gummies, which is hot, not okay. But point being that was 1,320. Yeah, he can count. 1,320 milligrams THC. In this container is 1,000 milligrams of THC. So in order to use this product, what we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to get a quantity about equal to a grain of rice. Okay, that is all that it's going to take to equal about 100 milligrams of THC. So if you are attempting to take a higher dose than what you are normally taking, okay, your body is going to need to adjust to that. Your body is going to need to get used to that. You're going to need to make sure that your body can handle the amount you're taking so that you don't have any negative effects. You don't feel uncomfortable. You don't feel freaked out. Okay, and that you don't get some of these illnesses or sicknesses that are sometimes blamed on high doses of THC. Now, Big Papa Hundo is not a scientist, okay? So he cannot go into all of the medical research and that. But you know what? Because of the rescheduling of cannabis, we're actually going to be able to get some decent medical research. But Big Papa Hundo does not believe that that's the best thing in the world because we shouldn't be rescheduling. We should be descheduling because for us to be putting a plant as a controlled substance when it's not killing anybody. And in fact, it's been well proven to be extraordinarily medical helpful. And I'm living proof, because I'm living and there's proof, okay, that it's about time that we got some good research behind this. But we need to declassify, not reclassify, because what we have failed to do is we have left behind all of the marijuana prisoners, okay? We have left behind all of those non-violent offenders who are sitting in prisons right now, families being destroyed, torn apart over non-violent crimes. Okay, so I call once again upon the powers that be that we need to really have an honest conversation about this plant. And we need to have a real honest conversation, because when the punishment is far more severe than the crime, for example, death by firing squad for 132 gummies, okay, or prison sentences for non-violent marijuana offenders, when adults of 21 years of age can walk into a dispensary, as Big Papa Hundo has clearly demonstrated exists, okay? We're denying reality, people. We're denying reality. We're saying that this whole industry doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And a lot of people's lives and livelihoods depend on it. But meanwhile, as we've rushed to reclassify rather than declassify, we've left all those marijuana prisoners hanging, okay? And that's not okay. We've opened up the door for big businesses to come in and capitalize on the recreational market, leaving medical patients behind. That's not okay. So we need to start taking care of our medical patients. We need to free the marijuana prisoners, okay? We need to end fear and end medicine, people. This is not a drug, all right? It's not a drug. This is a natural oil that came from a natural plant, all right? And the way that this thing works is we just squeeze here, and we can see a little bit coming out. Now, that itty bitty bit right there, that is going to be about 100 milligrams of THC, okay? In an oral form, easily taken. Wow. Okay, and that is, by the way, locally produced and available over the counter at dispensaries. Okay, and if you happen to be a medical marijuana patient that isn't interested in smoking or vaping or those sorts of routes of inhalation and ingestion of the substance, then an oral application is probably right for you. Okay? Now, I could take that and I could mix that in with the gummy. I could take that and I could mix that in with some tea. I can do a lot of different things in order to take this medication. Big Papa Hundo, unfortunately, due to his medical conditions, has been taking quite a bit of that oil for quite a long time. And so the taste of it actually to Big Papa Hundo, while it is quite strong and harsh, I don't feel the need to necessarily put a vessel in which to carry my medication. But you see how simple that was, all right? That was 100 milligrams of THC. And now Big Papa Hundo's going to put this away, okay? So we want to responsibly put the cap back on so that we can keep that medication for later when we need it. But I just wanted to remind you that when 1,000 milligrams of THC in a container like this, okay, we need to make sure that we are putting this away when we've got children around, locking it up, okay? Because somebody takes this 1,000 milligrams of THC, it is certainly not going to kill them. It's not. Hot not. Big Papa Hundo just took 1,320 milligrams of THC on Christmas. Didn't kill him a little bit. Not at all, okay? But we don't want anybody getting a hold of your medication. But you know what, people? That's no different than any other kind of medication out there. It's the same thing, okay? Now, Big Papa Hundo's over here advocating for you to lock up your medical marijuana, okay? I'm not hearing Big Pharma over there telling you to lock up your opioids, but boy howdy, I would recommend that you do, okay? So anyway, that's just a quick lesson in responsible consumption, quick lesson in what the proper dosages would be in terms of what that would look like for 100 milligrams of THC. It's about the size of a grain of rice, okay? It's an incredibly small quantity. And I do want to remind you this, too, is that it's possible, assuming you don't run out, it's possible to take more, but it's not really possible to take less once you've taken it. So, slow, low is where to go. All right. So start out with a low dosage. Take it real slow. And remember, when it comes to edibles, okay? And by edibles, I certainly mean the oils. I certainly mean the gummies. I certainly mean the brownies. All those things that we eat that contain THC. It's going to take time. All right. And it's going to be different each time in terms of how long that actually takes. So our metabolism is going to determine that to some degree. It's also going to matter what we've eaten that particular day, our mental state, our mind frame, all those things, our situations and circumstance when we ingest that substance are all going to factor in to when we are going to be experiencing the effects of the medication that we've consumed. So, low and slow. It could take up to 2 hours in order for what I just consumed to actually, for me to feel those effects. Generally, that's not the case. Generally, it does happen a lot faster, but what we always recommend is that if you are not familiar with edibles or you're taking a stronger dosage than what you would normally be taking for whatever reason, okay, you want to go low and slow. All right. And you want to make sure that you've given plenty of time for that medication to actually become effective and for you to see how your body and your mind are responding to that treatment before you go ahead and double down. All right. Once again, I thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I am Big Papa Hundo coming to you from the doghouse at BPH Compound. Again, big hugs and lots of love to everybody. I know that we're all experiencing a rainbow of emotions, having lost our friend Bobby Weir yesterday. And thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Pigpen. Thank you all. All right. I'm sure that there is quite a concert going on right about now, somewhere that are for your steps alone. I love you all. See you all a little later.